Because I'm happy I belong and you feel good. Because I'm happy I belong and you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy I belong and you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy I belong and you feel like that's what you want to do.
Mrs. Christenberry, what are you doing?
I'm visiting the ocean.
Well, why are you visiting the ocean?
Because we're going to be learning about the ocean this week. Come on, let's go. All right, like I said, first graders, this week we're going to be studying the ocean. Before we go ahead and study that together, let's look some of those vocabulary words that we'll be using throughout the next 2 weeks. The first one is reef. You may have heard a lot of these words in Finding Nemo or Finding Dory. Seaweed, coral, anemone, current, tide, wave, and erosion. Those are the vocabulary words that we're going to build our knowledge on the next 2 weeks. But today, I want to focus on living and non-living in the ocean. We talked about living and non-living earlier this e-learning quarter, where you went on a nature walk and you had to find things that were living and non-living outside. Well, it's the same concept in the ocean, but let's look at these cards that will help us figure out what are things that are living and what are things that are non-living. So living things are plants, animals, and creatures that breathe, eat, move, and grow. Many living things reproduce and have the ability to adapt. So there are some examples on the bottom, like a shark, and then we see coral and an anemone. And then we're going to be looking at non-living things. Non-living things are objects that have never lived or are no longer living. Non-living objects do not share the same characteristics as living things. So when you think of like pirates and things that might be in the ocean, like a ship or treasure, those are not living things. They do not grow or change. Shells do not grow or change. Even sand and water does not grow or change. And then this is a submarine. So let's work on categorizing some of those things together. I have 2 categories, living in the ocean and non-living in the ocean. I'm going to put them right below here so that I can look to these examples to try to categorize what things are living and what things are non-living. I'm going to look at this very first picture. It is the picture of a starfish. Does a starfish grow or change? Does it eat? Can it make more of itself? It can, so I'm going to say that that is living in the ocean. Now I'm going to look at this submarine. Does a submarine grow or change? Can it make another submarine from itself? No, so that would be non-living in the ocean. What about a treasure box, like a pirate's treasure? Is that living? Does it grow or change, or is it non-living? That's right, it's non-living. What about the plants at the bottom? Plants at the bottom of the ocean are like plants that we would see outside. They grow and they change, so they're living. What about an abandoned ship? Pause this video and say, is it living or non-living? That's right, it's non-living. And our last, what do we think? This is much like a plant or coral or an anemone. That's right, it's living. So today in Seesaw, that's going to be your job. Looking at a bunch of different things that are in the ocean, you have to say if it's living, if it grows or changes, or if it is non-living. Good luck, Spartans, and enjoy the ocean.